But hey, folks, there are a couple bright spots. And one of the bright spots that we're seeing in the United States today is that it appears that the Republican Party, to a tiny, tiny degree, appears to be warming up to the idea of renewable energy. There was a great op-ed in The Hill this week where they actually talked about a piece of legislation that Republicans are pushing in North Carolina without Democratic input. But this piece of legislation would shut down 5 major coal-fired power plants in North Carolina in the coming decade, cutting carbon dioxide emissions and improving air quality. Importantly, the legislation mandates the main North Carolina utility, Duke Energy, securitize the cost of coal retirements. That provision will save ratepayers from paying the retirement costs of those facilities and is something that could be replicated in other states across the country. To date, only a few other states have adopted a similar policy. The bill would grow renewable energy substantially by 4,700 megawatts over the next decade, including from solar power and offshore wind, able to power millions of homes. So no, North Carolina's a purple state, and you got a Democratic governor and a Republican-controlled legislature, but this bill was crafted without the input of Democrats in the state of North Carolina. And it actually includes, we're going to close down some coal plants and we're going to create renewable energy. And Republicans did it on their own. As somebody who has spent 17 years covering environmental news, reporting on it, writing it, investigating it, I'm almost in shock, folks. I am almost legitimately in shock. Because I never thought we'd see the day. Honestly, truly, 17 years writing about misinformation on climate change coming from the right, writing about fossil fuel donations and how they're paying off politicians. I'm so incredibly inspired by this piece of legislation. And of course, we can quibble all day. Does it go far enough? No, probably not. But you know what, guys? Sometimes you got to take a win as a win. And I'm sick and tired of the all or nothing types. Sometimes even a little progress is something to be celebrated, because you know what? When you celebrate the small victories and the folks see you out there congratulating them and applauding them for doing the small steps, do you know what it encourages them to do? Take another step. Do it again. Do more. And sometimes that's what we need to do. More carrot, less stick, right? So I'm not going to criticize this piece of legislation right now. If they can get this passed and they can shut down some of those Duke Energy coal-fired power plants in the state of North Carolina, then more power to them. Replace it with renewable energy, that's even better. This is a good piece of legislation. And I think we need to be celebrating that fact. We get so few victories, especially for the environment, folks. So I think we need to celebrate when that opportunity arises. When it presents itself, take advantage of it. Because again, we don't get a lot of this. And hopefully, other Republicans around the country take note. The issue of climate change has been partisan here in the United States for too long, but ironically, it's actually not that partisan when you go out to the voters themselves. Majority of Republicans support actions to protect the environment from the effects of climate change. They support renewable energy, as do obviously huge majorities of Democrats. And that's the thing, like when you go out there to the people, there's not this same divide that you see in Washington, D.C. That is not representative of the actual country. So that's where my hope lies. My hope lies in the people. And I think if we continue to applaud these steps and more people do that, we might just start getting some good legislation. And of course, the infrastructure bill, right? That has investments in renewable. We had some Republicans vote to support it. That's a good thing. Renewable energy equals jobs for the United States. You know, if you want to look at it not in terms of environmental impact, if you want to look at it in dollars and cents, it makes perfect sense. And it makes a lot of sense as well. Celebrate the victories when you can, folks, because again, too few and far between.